All right, folks, what is going on? Back with another video. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic day. Hopefully, everything is good. I am home from work, so that is awesome. And I'm gonna do this video right here because I'm really interested about how this played out. I got two articles I want to talk about when Nintendo may be trying to take out a secondhand and third party market. And I think this is not necessarily too far fetched, but you just got to be mindful of stuff like this if you're into the Nintendo Switch 2. So I want to talk about this, give my thoughts and opinions. So if this is your first time here, welcome. We talk about everything gaming and under that umbrella. Also, all the links down in the description if you want to check out my X account, my Twitch, Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff is down there. Also, I have a poll down there. It's going to talk about what game I'm going to live stream next this weekend. So hopefully you'll participate in that. And also Stop Killing Games. That initiative is ongoing. I want people to, continue to look into that, share it, spread it to everybody, and just get as many signatures as we can on there. So with that being said, let's talk about these two articles right here. I got Switch 2 owner banned for playing secondhand Switch 1 games. And we also got another article about a third-party docking station that's actually, I think it was being locked down or bricked or whatever. I want to see how that plays out as well. So we're going to look at both of these. I haven't read any of these articles, but we're going to go right into it. So with that being said, new concerns have arisen over Nintendo's strict policies over how you use the Switch 2. Although for a moment, it does seem that there's a solution. Nintendo gets away a lot of negative consumer practices. But there's already been concern about the ability to put the Switch 2 permanently offline if you mod carts, which obviously you don't need to be modding using none of the MIG Switch cartridges, no. But now a different problem has arisen from a Switch 2 owner that claims he was banned for using secondhand Switch 1 games that he bought off Facebook Marketplace. Nintendo apparently realized that they were secondhand, which he attempted to download patches for when he started them up on the Switch 2. At this point, he claims that he was banned, and while it's not been widely reported by others, it does raise obviously concerns for the future. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you have secondhand games and you try to play them on your Switch 2, how did that play out? How does that work out? Like, do everybody have to go through this? Has other people had to deal with this? My son, we have a Nintendo Switch 2, and my son, he has played his Switch 1 games that were digital, with the the virtual card, but we haven't tried any of these games over here yet. Over here, he may have like maybe three or four used games that I bought for him. And I'm kind of worried about actually putting those games in there because, hey, it may brick his Switch. And the last thing I really want to do is have to deal with that. And I really don't want to be dealing with customer support because I don't have any proof at this point that my Switch 1 games or the Switch 1 games that he bought or that we bought are like legit. I can show that they're legit, but I don't have the means to go through like a, Facebook Marketplace. I didn't buy any games on Facebook Marketplace. I don't have any means to go. I'm gonna have to go back to the mom and pop third party store that I bought, or even GameStop, and show them that I bought these. I don't want to go through all that. But what I think what happened is, I think this guy probably bought a pirated copy or somewhat of a modified copy of a game off Facebook Marketplace. Because yes, that is a thing. I don't really recommend buying anything off Facebook Marketplace like that. Maybe the games, but definitely not the console. Definitely not the console. But I'm not necessarily recommend it. But yeah, this looks like that was the case. They got it resolved. Everything is all good. And so with that being said, the concerns for me would be like, let's say, what is it? That means secondhand games are commonplace while traditional piracy is relatively rare on Nintendo consoles. Fake cartridges are easily found on eBay and other online sources. That's why I said I don't necessarily buy any of that stuff on there. I buy them from the mom and pop shop or GameStop or anything like that. So Nintendo's already banned that sort of thing that they use to download pirated games. Yeah, the long-standing problem is that Nintendo games rarely get discounted by Nintendo or retailers, so secondhand games are vital for fans in order to be able to afford games they want. So this is a situation where they could possibly be taking out the secondhand market, because if they're really aggressive with this, even legit games could be like, look, it has to be assigned to the person's account. We already know how all that goes. I don't want to get into all that. But yeah, even with that, that could be an issue where places like GameStop, the mom and pop shops could be at odds with Nintendo. It would be really interesting to see how that goes. But that's one issue that you have. Now, the second one that we have is Nintendo. Let me put it here. How Nintendo locked down the USB-C port and broke a third-party dock. And so now somebody's using a third-party dock, and that third-party dock is now broken because they tried to use it with the Switch 2. So let's look at this here. With the Nintendo Switch, should be easy to plug your new, more expensive console in the physical class. Okay, they're not talking about anything right there. Let's say, if you've been wondering why there's basically no portable Switch 2 docks on the market, this is the reason. The company has built its reputation on beating the Steam Deck dock to the market. And so what it was, like, haven't found proof. But when I analyzed the USB-C PD traffic by the power tech, I could clearly see that the new Nintendo Switch is not behaving like a good USB citizen should. So basically, they're telling you all this stuff, like how it's supposed to work, whatever the case may be. But with this one, basically it's supposed to handshake. This is the whole handshake right here. I don't want to go back and forth with that, but it's not handshaking. So as you probably now suspect, the Nintendo Switch 2 doesn't do it that way. When you plug the Switch 2 into a third-party Docker hub, it may refuse to negotiate power. Other times, it'll get power and ask for, but then the conversation will abruptly go to a ground halt. So the conversation that's right here, it'll stop. That's because when the Nintendo Switch 2 will talk in code, the proprietary message only Nintendo can decipher. So basically, if you even went back to like the NES days, they had a CRC chip in the Nintendo Entertainment System. Basically, that chip has to conversate with whatever that's in the Nintendo Entertainment System, and once they connect and they can talk to each other, bam, that game will play in the NES. So that's how long this stuff like this has been going on. But they done it again with the Switch 2 with the dock situation. So some docks do work, some docks don't. But this is another thing. Nintendo is trying to take out the third-party side of things as well. I've heard some stories like Logitech is not really working very well. The Logitech products is not working very well with Nintendo. All this other stuff is going on. So the USB-C protocol is a little bit out of whack. I don't want to go into all this. This looks crazy, a bunch of talk right there. But they did find a dock that worked. As of today, only one single third-party dock claims to be compatible, and you won't probably be surprised. It's a $36 Antec S3 Max, and they found it found to speak with Nintendo's coded language. So if you want one, the third-party that works, as of right now, this is the one right here, the Antec S3 Max. So that's what it is right there. So at the end of the day, I look at it like this. I'm not surprised that Nintendo's doing stuff like this. You already saw how the stories that came out with, Nintendo could brick your console if you do this, that, and the third, or whatever the case may be. And it looks like that's what they're trying to do. That's what they're going to be on. And it's kind of going into the games, and it's kind of going to the third-party accessories. So I don't know. For me personally, I'm just going to stick with the regular stuff right now. If it takes me a while to buy it, whatever the case may be, because I don't have all the money in the world. If I have to buy it late for my son, that's fine. He has a Switch 2. He's good with it right now. He's not really complaining. And there he is right now. You probably saw his feet all in the air right there, but that's fine. He's good. That's all that really matters. And I'm not necessarily going to go any further as far as trying to get third-party games. And most of the used stuff, if I'm really worried about any used games, I'll probably just use the Switch 1 OLED and tell them to play it on that and play just Switch 2 games on the Switch 2 for now. And that might be the best way to go in general because of all the stuff going on. So y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to get up out of here. My son's always in the background doing stuff. You probably saw his feet. He's rocking back and forth in his little chair. It is what it is. He's always back here having fun. Ain't that right, baby?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get up out of here. I'll see y'all on the next one. Y'all be blessed. I'm out. Peace.
Peace.